welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. Today, I'm going to unbox and take a look at 51st State Ultimate Edition. This is a card game by Ignacy Shevchuk and is truly the ultimate edition of 51st State. 51st State has come a long way. I own one of the earlier versions of 51st State that came in a box like this. This was the second revised edition, but was pretty much close to being the first edition of 51st State. And this grew into some expansions or added some expansions onto 51st State, and then grew into Imperial Settlers, which is a more of a civilization type game. You can play different historical and sometimes fantasy based or mythological civilizations, and is a really solid game. And that's actually gone off on its own trajectory or branched off on its own family tree. But then after they came out with Imperial Settlers, they went back to 51st State and added some of the mechanics or some of the more simplified mechanics from Imperial Settlers into 51st State. And then that's been growing with a lot of these different expansions over time. You had the base game. In the original, this 51st State had the base game, had, I believe, New Era and Scavengers, which I think was called Ruins or something like that. I just had the base card game. I didn't have any of the expansions. But now 51st State has now combined all the different expansions, plus I think a new one here. I think this No Man's Land is new for this Ultimate Edition, and they put it all into one box. So I didn't get in on it when 51st State came back from Imperial Settlers and started using some of those mechanics. I decided, well, I still have this, and I play this every once in a while. It's been a long time since I played this, but I still have this, and maybe I'll wait till they put it all together into a big box. Well, my wait is over. They put it all together into a big box. And I have to say, though, that I liked this game. I liked some of the concepts of this game, but this was a little hard to get into. I mean, this it's not your easiest of card games to kind of wrap your head around. And so the things that they added from Imperial Settlers, when they simplified that and then added added the 51st State kind of theme on top of it, I'm excited to get into this because this does look easier to get into. I like this theme. This is kind of a post-apocalyptic type theme. In that you're dealing with these different factions that are in some kind of a post-apocalyptic world that are, scavenging and kind of creating their own governments of sort, or ruling themselves their own way with somewhat of a sense of anarchy and survival of the fittest. So here we go. Let's look at the back of the box here and see what we have. And that is 51st State Ultimate Edition. Build, raise, make a deal with it. So the cards have multiple uses. You can build the card, you can raise the card for its resources, or you can, make a deal with it, flip it over, and then it's going to be a resource that you gain every time, or every other turn, or every turn after that you start gaining that resource. So the cards have multiple use. As I said, this theme is gritty, but I like it. The Imperial Settlers I thought I like civ builder games, so Imperial Settlers theme was I really liked that theme. Some people didn't like the fact that they kind of made it somewhat cute in some respects. It wasn't you had the Romans and you had, samurai, but it was, kind of a little bit on the cutesy side. I don't think is going to suffer from that. This is, as you can see from some of the art just on the back here, is a little bit more gritty and dark, and you're dealing with the theme of a post-apocalyptic world. In the box, we've packed all this stuff. This is all the stuff that you could get from 51st State. They put all that into this box now. So you've got you got the base game, a couple of big expansion, and some of these small box expansions as well. And you're going to have these player boards. These are the different factions that you can play, and they're all unique. They have different build abilities and have different, they have different abilities or asymmetrical type abilities that you can use. It's 14 plus, 60 to 90 minutes. And the one thing I really like about it's 1 to 4, but I really like the fact that it's got that one. This plays solo. The Imperial Settlers, I like the fact that it played solo. And it wasn't, it was a decent solo system. This one, I think, packs a couple of different solo systems in it. I think there's a new one in this, or one that is relatively recent, is my understanding, in this one. So you've got some different choices in here. So enough of that. Let's, and you can see this uses the basic mechanics of the award-winning Imperial Settlers right there. So let's see what we have inside this box here. I've been, as I said, I waited and waited and waited, and I finally couldn't wait anymore to, they finally put it all into a big box, and I had to see what the fuss was about. So this is definitely a thick box here. I don't know if that's 3 inches, 4 inches maybe. Good thick box. Decent size thickness, not huge, but hopefully it's good enough to hold everything together. Your typical hobby, square type box here. See, open in case of emergency, so you get this right away. I don't know what this is, but it looks like it's some different boards in there. Tell you what, we're just going to leave that off. It says open. I don't know if I should open that or not. So, Ultimate Edition. Wow, that is a thick rule book there. A lot of stuff going on there. Here's an ad for all the different Portal games. If I haven't mentioned, this is from Portal Games. Here's Imperial Settlers, is what I was telling you about, that has all these different factions that you can add on. The Atlanteans, Aztecs, Amazons, and some small box expansions. Plus that there was 4 civilizations that came in Imperial Settlers. Then it branched off into this Empires of the North. I think it uses some similar mechanics, but it did some things different. I stayed with Imperial Settlers and did not branch out with it. You've got Robinson Crusoe, excellent game. Plays solitaire very well, but very tough game. I mean, this will kick your behind. It's very tough to win that game. 11, I've been covering the 11 series. That's a sports series here. And what else do I have in here? That Hiroshima Hex. I have the original Hiroshima Hex. I think there's a big box of Hiroshima Hex as well. There's a ton of expansions for that. The Hiroshima Hex, I haven't. I've got. Don't think I see it on here, but I've got Monolith Arena, which is kind of a fantasy version of a Hiroshima Hex. But I have the original. I don't know if it's the first or second edition of Hiroshima Hex, but they've added a lot since then. If you want a excellent 2-player game, I think there might be some solitaire scenarios to it, but it's generally or best played as a 2-player game. This is excellent. It's got kind of a feel of chess, but has very asymmetrical powers. Anyway, and I think this 51st State might be in some of the same universe as Hiroshima Hex. Anyway, enough of all that. I can talk about Portal games all day long. Let's get into the rule book. This is what you came here for. Ultimate Edition. Here's the components overview, solo rules, solitaire variants, the Borgo Automa. So I think there's solo game rules, and then this Borgo Automa, I think, is the new rules I was talking about. Here's the cards in detail: base game, winner, new era, scavengers, allies, Moloch, no man's land. So those are all those different packs that you get. And this is just an unboxing and a rambling. So if you're looking for how to play the game, I'll probably do a separate piece after I get this unboxed and play this. But I haven't done anything on Imperial Settlers either, so I don't have anything else out there, but there is a lot of stuff out here about the gameplay of this. But so this is just to see what you get inside a box of 51st State. So here's a list of all the different components here. You got a victory point board, which is nice because in the original one, the victory point board was on the back of the box here. So it's kind of nice that we have a separate board for that. You got your victory point markers. Here's all the different factions, dual-sided there. You get 200 cards. And again, a lot of these are separated into all these different expansions that you get. You get wooden markers here for your brick and your gun and your fuel and your iron and worker pieces. And then you have some counters for shield and development, ammo, contacts. Contacts is a concept that was first done in 51st State, the original edition. And that's kind of how you reach out to different locations. You're building kind of your own fiefdom of sorts you're building a 51st State kind of on your own in this post-apocalyptic world. Here's the card overview, explains a lot of the different components, different features of the card, and as I said before, the cards have multiple use. I mean, there's stuff on here for resources to if you want to raise it. There's stuff on here for abilities when you build it, and there's 3 different areas of how you build. Or where you place cards, and then there's you flip it over if you want to make it part of a negotiation or an ongoing resource. And you see an example here of using that for an ongoing resource, and then you have your 3 different areas. If you have it for let's pull that up here for production. So your top part is production, then a feature, and then an action, and that's somewhat similar to Imperial Settlers, but I'm not going to go into that. So these are feature cards, production cards, and action cards. Here's your setup, and it's a big. This is a huge rule book from a size standpoint. Font is decent. It's not super small. I mean, it's not huge, but there's a lot on the page. But there's also a lot of images on the page as well. Here's the rules of play. You got right here starting on page 7, and that looks like that goes to page 11. So 4 pages of rules, dual column here, as you can see. And they have these like color bands at the top. So you have setup, you have rules in blue. Then we have in-game clarifications. Here's the solo game rules right here. You got 2 pages of that. You've got some variants to the solo game rules. Then you have this Borgo Automa, which I think is a new way of solo. I mean, more ways to play solo. Sign me up. Here's the cards in detail. And you've got the base game cards. You've got Winter, which was one of the first expansions. New Era, which was expansion. Scavengers. A little bit more detail on Scavengers because that adds, I think, a few more rules or some new rules to it. Allies, which is a whole different kind of game as well. Moloch, like several pages of Moloch. And then No Man's Land. This is, I think, the new, brand new expansion to 51st State, as you can see here. And it has these setup cards to play the game. And then here are some ads for Hiroshima Hex. Here's some promos that come in here, and these promos I think are included in this box as well. New factions, some screen printed wooden markers, and again, these are all come here, and some new promo cards as well. So quite a bit in this box. What I don't think, the neoprene mat and the neoprene play area. Oh, this is Gamefound content. So if you did a Gamefound for this, so I don't know if I'm going to have all this in here or not. So some of this is Gamefound content, and I did not get the Gamefound, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get all that or not. So we'll see as we look in the box. Here's a rule summary page, a couple pages of that. That's kind of nice. And then let's see what we get in here. So I guess I don't think I have screen printed stuff, so this isn't the Gamefound, but you still get the bits here. So here are the bits for the bricks, the guns, the gears, and the fuel, and then some workers. And they have some nice inserts in here to put stuff out, and it's dual level. So here's where your faction cards will go in. Here are the holding bins for each of those different resources there. And then this is going to pop out here. And then we have that's the 51st player marker. So there is some of these promos that come in here that aren't necessarily the Gamefound stuff. And these are all the different different cards. There's the base game cards in here, and each of the different expansions: Winter, New Era, Moloch, No Man's Land. All those would be in here. And then, whoa, there we have it. That's all that's in here. So I guess what's in this break in case of emergency is probably our counters that you need for the game, because you're going to need some counters for this game. So this isn't a Gamefound edition. I just got this. I found a good deal online, but it was not the Gamefound edition. So, you know, I did not get the premium deluxe version, but you're seeing what you would get if you buy the 51st State Ultimate Edition. I guess retail. I guess maybe this is that. What's that? What that version is considered there. So you get here are the counter. They pop out real easy, as you see. They're just popping out as I lift them up. Decent thickness. Here are your contact, the blue contact, and as you see here, these factions pop out really easy here. And they're dual-sided, so you can play male or female on these, depending on what you want to play there. And they're different. I mean, so the production is going to be different on these, and feature and actions. They have some special actions for the different factions. So this is the Merchants Guild. Here is the Appalachian Federation. And they were in the original, or the one that I have as well. Here are the red contact. And then you have the New York. Again, good thick board there. You have the Mutants Union. Now, when I said these were in the original, they didn't come with a board like this. This was something they took from when they went to Imperial Settlers. Imperial Settlers had boards like this for the production feature and actions or some focus like that, and they translated that over to 51st State as well. You just had a faction card that in the original. So this is a nice addition, but it's been in 51st State since they implemented some of the Imperial Settlers features. Here are some of those other counters that you get in here. Police, or like for shields and what have you here. You have some multi-use contacts there. I believe they're called contacts. I just read it. Can I remember that? Here's that player board, or the scoreboard for the game. Here's some more counters here. And these are for these are special for allies, and these are special for No Man's Land. And there you have it. So that's all you get for 51st State. So this isn't the Gamefound. So a lot of that stuff that I, that's the teaser. So you can go out and get more here with all these Gamefound promos here. Although the first player marker that did come in here. So, and I wonder if they have the additional factions. Probably not the additional factions that come in there. So I still have some more to look for here. But anyway, there you have it. This is 51st State Ultimate Edition, what you get in the box. At least maybe this is considered the retail version of that. Nonetheless, a lot of stuff there. I got kind of handcuffed there. A lot of stuff to play with there. Anyway, there you have it. Thanks for stopping by on this Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. And I put this kind of in Sci-Fi Fantasy just because of the, it's post-apocalyptic, and so it's a little bit different than what you would see in other type of genres. I mean, I guess I could have saved this for Sanctuary Sunday, but I'm putting it in Sci-Fi Fantasy, and that's when you guys are getting it. If you've played this game, played any of the different versions, if you've got the Ultimate Edition, love to know your thoughts or comments on any of it. And thanks for stopping by. Take care. Thanks for watching.